Howdy folks, today I wanted to show you how I can turkey broth. I like to make broth with the leftover bones and carcass from our Thanksgiving turkey, and so I have the broth already made. I'll show you how to do that in a different video, but I have the broth all ready here today, and I have jars that are clean and washed. I like pint jars because a lot of the recipes that I use calls for 1 or 2 cups of broth, or if I have, if I need more broth, I could open a couple of jars, but you can also do it in quarts, of course, whichever you prefer. And I have my lids ready. It's super easy. First of all, you just fill all the jars up with broth, and I leave some of the fat in the broth. If it has a lot of fat, when it's cooled, I will scrape off some of the fat and throw it away. But I do like some of the fat in because I feel like that natural turkey fat is healthy, and it also gives it a lot of flavor. That's where most of your flavor is going to be. So you just want to fill it up until it's about a ½ inch from the top of the jar, and go ahead and do that with all the jars. Then you want to seal put all the lids on, and you don't want to just get them super tight. You just what we call fingertip tight, just as tight as you can get them with your fingertips. Okay, next I have them all filled. Next I'm going to take a clean cloth, damp cloth, and wipe off all the rims, because I may have spilled a little bit on the rims. Even if you think they're clean, it's a good practice or a good habit to get into when you're canning, to always wipe off the rims, because if there's if there's food particles on there, it probably won't seal very good, or it might not seal very good, and then you could get food poisoning. So we want a good seal, so we want to have the rims nice and clean. Some people use white vinegar to wipe the rims. I just use a clean dishcloth. Okay, I have all the broth in jars with lids on, and now I'm going to put them in a pressure cooker. For chicken broth, because it's a meat product, you have to pressure can it. You can't water bath it. If you do like a hot water bath, it's not really considered safe. So always want to use a pressure canner. If I arrange them, I can get them all in here. Yeah, I can do 9 in this, and then there is you can see there's a rack on the bottom that it sits on, and then you put 3 quarts of water in, and it won't cover it. It's not like water bath or hot water bath. It won't cover it with water. But because it's a pressure canner, it will build up steam inside, and it will get it good and tight sealed. Okay, once all the jars are in and you put 3 quarts of water in, at least that's what mine calls for. You might have to check the instructions on your model. Then you're just going to put the lid on. If I can figure it out here. There's a little arrow that points that shows you which way to do it, and I often get it turned around backwards. So I've turned it to where the gauge is in the front so I can see it, and then you want it to build up pressure until it's 15 pounds pressure. For my altitude, different altitude is different pressure. From here it's 15 pounds of pressure, so once it builds up to 15 pounds of pressure, I'll let it go ahead and vent for a minute, and then I will put the weight on, and then we'll time it. You want to leave the weight off of the vent for the first 10 minutes. Let it vent freely. If you can see, the steam is coming out of that vent hole. That's really hot steam, so don't put your hand over it. And you want to set a timer and let that vent for 10 minutes before you put the weight on. Then you can go ahead and put the weight on. Okay, my pressure canner is up to pressure. You can see the weight is kind of wobbling there. That's what it does when it gets to the correct pressure. And it's sitting right at 14 pounds of pressure, which is exactly what we need. So at this point, I'm going to lower the heat just a tad so that it stays there and doesn't go any higher. And then I'll start the timer for 20 minutes. Since I'm canning pints, it may need to can for 20 minutes.